Hello DALI followers! We are very pleased today to announce that our new Phantom K-series and our Phantom HR series are now available. In this video I would like to go through the features and the key elements of all the new speaker models. Enjoy! The new Phantom K-series are in-ceiling speakers that serves as a step up in quality compared to the current Phantom E-series. With the new K-series, we're extending the in-ceiling range to include some more traditional DALI speaker technologies as well as some very unique and new features. The Phantom K-series consists of two models, the K60 and the K80. Both models are based on the exact same technologies, although with a difference in bass driver size. The K60 uses a 6.5-inch bass mid-range and the K80 uses an 8-inch bass and mid-range. The K-series come with a very unique and newly designed front grille included in the box. This grille is slimmer, it's more elegant and way more discreet than our previous designs, but more importantly, it looks like nothing else on the market. The majority of all alternative speakers for ceiling mounting appear as round but grey speakers. The design of the front grille for the K-series is taken from DALI's most expensive wall models, the Phantom S-series. And with a very special perforated hole pattern, these front grilles appear white. And that's a true white. It's not off-white, it's not slightly grey, it's not completely grey, it's white. And this sets the K-series apart from pretty much any other ceiling model on the market, and it's a feature that we are very proud to introduce. Should you choose to spray paint them in a different color to fit your decoration, this color will also appear clear and match the surroundings. The new grille can also be used for the Phantom E-series, so if you're adding K-series in your house with E-series mounted already, you can retrofit the new grilles to match the E-series and the K-series together. Or you can simply buy the new grille as an accessory for your E60, E60S or E80 speakers if you want to update the grille design on your current E-series speakers. That goes for the E-series grille as well. If you prefer this design, this can of course be used on the new K-series as well. Did you know that we also supply square grilles for the E-series and now the K-series as well, that you can buy as an accessory to mount on top of the round design? Oh, and speaking of grilles, in a few months we will also come out with a black grille in the new K-series design. This saves you from having to spray paint your grilles yourself and will add to the flexibility of installation in a darker environment, such as a home theater, for example. If you move into an existing building, it is in most cases almost impossible to make a proper and correct installation that is airtight behind the speaker. For the K-series, the newly developed back cans can be installed through the hole in the ceiling. The dedicated back can is installed on the back of the speaker, and it's completely airtight before the entire speaker is set up in through the hole in the ceiling. This feature is unique against pretty much any round ceiling mounted speaker in the market, and it gives you a tremendous flexibility in installation. Included in the box of the back can is also a safety bracket that can be mounted on the back of the back can for use with a fall protection wire, which in some countries are regulatory. This bracket adds 17 millimeters to the total depth, which is total depth from the mounting surface to the back of the can is 200 millimeters. These back cans are obviously developed specifically to work with the K-series, so we've made sure that the performance is fantastic, even though the enclosure is quite small. Having a smaller enclosure behind the speaker will also give a different sound. What you'll find is that in these back cans the sound will be a little bit punchier in the upper bass rather in the lowest bass. This can actually be preferred if you're installing the speakers in a small bathroom or a small hallway with lots of reverb. In a bigger room you can of course experience that the deepest bass can lack a little bit if you're using the back can. But you still have to consider the alternative, which is no bass at all. The back cans will ensure that you get 100% airtight enclosure and the best possible sound, where pretty much all others would fail. And if you subsequently lack the deepest bass, that problem can easily be solved with a regular or even a wireless subwoofer. But please try it out first, go to your store, get a demonstration. We think you'll be very impressed. Another unique feature of the K-series is that it has the exact same cutout as the E-series. So that means the measurements are the same for the E60 and the E80. This means that now you can actually have the option to upgrade to better speakers if you have the holes in your back boxes installed already. Included in the box is also a cutout template. We do this for all our CI speakers. This helps you do the correct cutout in your ceiling or in your wall. You can always find all the installation specifications for the speakers and the back cans on our website, or you can consult with your local DALI dealer or your local DALI installer. Compared to the E-series, the bass and mid-range drivers on the K-series are now based on our well-known paper and wood fiber cones, and these are mounted in a very low-loss rubber surround with a long excursion. Also, we optimized the new magnet system for a better low-end response compared to the E-series, which means you'll experience a significantly larger and deeper sound in the new K-series. The driver cone itself is also treated or saturated on the surface to be better at withstanding moisture and damp environments, which again adds to the flexibility of the new series. If you, for example, are installing your speakers in a very moist or damp environment, say maybe just above a shower in your bathroom, we would actually suggest using the Phantom E-series, which are much better at withstanding moisture and big shifts in temperature. But regular installation, maybe in the middle of the bathroom, is no problem at all. The bass drivers are mounted in the enclosure just a bit off axis. This makes it possible to beam the sound a little bit in a certain direction, which you can control by the printed compass alignment tool on the front of the speaker. Angling the bass drivers also lowers coloration and distortion on the driver and in the enclosure itself. And it also lets us mount the tweeter closer to the bass driver, improving the timing and the phase between the two. Adding to the flexibility of the K-series, on the front you will find two switches. One is for treble lift and the other one is for mid-range adjustment. We chose to design these switches to be a little bit more aggressive than on the E-series in order for the user to tailor the sound to their liking. The voicing of the K-series is done directly based on feedback from our markets. For a long time there's been a high demand for an in-ceiling speaker model which was higher up in quality than our E-series, but also with the ability to play deeper in the bass and with more output. We believe that we've given you just that. Also, we often get the feedback that other speakers play more bass, where in fact we found out through listening tests and measurements that in fact they don't play more bass, they play less mid-range. A scooped out mid-range will give you the sensation of more bass, but it also hides a lot of the critical details of the music. Even so, people seem to like this character in a CI speaker. Therefore, to accommodate that taste in sound, we've chosen to have the K-series be shipped with a slightly recessed mid-range character to give that impression of a larger or rounder sound. If you prefer to have your mid-range to be more natural, more linear instead, simply switch on the mid-frequency switch on the front and you'll get a more linear response with much more details in the mid-range. There's nothing right or wrong here, it's up to you to decide. The good thing is you simply use the switches to find your preferred balance in the sound. That goes for the treble adjustment as well. The treble tilt switch makes you compensate for a wide off-axis listening angle. So if you're sitting far off-axis from the speakers, tilting the treble can help with a little bit wider dispersion and to compensate for a little bit of the loss of level in the outer region of the listening position. Also on the K-series, we added an adjustable tweeter housing. This makes you able to tilt the tweeter physically to get the optimum sound in your preferred listening position. This is also a feature that's liked by a lot of people. The tweeters in the K-series are 28mm soft domes. They're chosen for their excellent transient response. It has very low coloration and a very high sensitivity. The oversized tweeter that we use also makes the crossover from the tweeter to the mid-range to be much more seamless, avoiding any dips in the frequency response in that critical mid-range. And this results in a highly transparent and detailed and natural sound character. The tweeter is mounted in a solid aluminium wishbone, we call it. It's a solid aluminium structure, which is highly inert and practically resonance-free. And this is decoupled with tuned mass dampers to avoid the rest of the enclosure to interact with the tweeter housing and cause additional distortion. When making the K-series, we went through all bits and pieces to ensure that lowest possible distortion and to avoid any unwanted resonance. Therefore, when we mount our crossovers, we don't mount them like many of our competitors do, or colleagues do, on a round print board just behind the bass driver. Because adding a flat plate just behind and around the back of the bass driver will cause a lot of turbulence behind the driver, which in short will cause a lot of distortion. So in order to accommodate this problem, we chose to mount the crossovers on 3 different print boards and have these extend from the back of the enclosure instead of being mounted across the back. This ensures that there's a free airflow behind the driver, and it's a huge improvement sound-wise, but a quite simple solution actually. Installing CI speakers, we often get a lot of questions about the correct backbox to use for the speakers. The choice to add a backbox is also very dependent on the situation you're installing the speaker in. If you're installing the CI speakers in a large room, a bigger backbox is typically preferred to get a fuller and deeper sound character. As I talked about before, installing in a small room like a bathroom or a corridor, a smaller backbox can also be preferred to get a bit more control in the bass and avoid that boominess of the smaller room. The K-series will work in just about any situation. That all depends on room size and your preferences. But if you want to have a recommendation, I think that the DALI Phantom Universal, the 25-liter backbox, is a great choice for both models, both the K60 and the K80. It's a very simple box. You cut a hole into it, there is a dampening material inside, and it's ready for mounting. But it doesn't mean you can't go even bigger or smaller. We've had tremendous results in our own listening room, both with the backcans, the universal backbox, but also very large-sized backboxes. You don't have to worry about it because the K speakers and pretty much any DALI speaker will work in just about any situation. So when you're installing your speakers, we often forget that a lot of the electronics that we use provide us with even further tools to design the sound to our liking. Equalizers are often frowned upon in 2-channel hi-fi, but in custom installation, it's a great tool to have, sometimes necessary to solve the job if the room is causing troubles acoustically. A lot of the new installation amplifiers, like for example the CI DSP products from NAD, they will actually allow you to adjust every connected speaker with parametric equalizer and a limiter as well. The K-series will sound great in any situation, but with the built-in switches and additional EQ from your connected amplifier, you'll have the tools to optimize each and every speaker based on the position and your personal taste. We have already gotten tremendous feedback from the markets that were lucky enough to listen to the new K-series speakers, and we're extremely proud about the fact that the K-series are already proving themselves as becoming the market leader in sound quality in this price range. Please consult with your DALI dealer, your DALI installer, to get a demonstration of the new K-series.